Auntie.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Here I am. Okay.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Namaste to Guruji. Jai Guruji, Auntie.
Jai Guruji. Um, this chapter we started with, and it's not complete yet. We started about pilgrimages, okay, how important they are. But Baba Sai has another take, and the take is exactly what Guruji used to say कि एंड with तुसी मैनू कार बैठ के याद करोगे और इधर उधर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, but of course it inspires us if we go on pilgrimages. But in the end, it's remembering your God and Master all the time. And that is for it is beyond, above and beyond going to pilgrimages. If you remember your God, your Master, every moment. So, going on a pilgrimage works wonders for one's karmic cleansing. A pilgrimage starts from the first step you take out of your house and ends when you enter your home. The pilgrimage is not about standing in front of the statue or tomb, but it is about you spending each moment in prayer while on the pilgrimage. So, um, sitting at home, says Baba, however, heart, mind, and soul fixed on God, Goddess Master, bowing down in the mind, prostrating yourself mentally, emotionally connecting with the One, and spiritually already there in front of your God, Goddess Master, is a pilgrimage too. As you have transported your astral and causal body out there, said your prayers, and then return to yourself. You do not need money for such a pilgrimage. You only need your heart and your soul and your love, unconditional love. Prayers can be done anywhere. So you might not have the time to sit in front of the One at home as you have various duties to perform. But if God resides in your heart, then just chanting the name becomes the most beautiful prayer and the most successful pilgrimage. Let me make you understand a simple way of entwining and tightly sewing God into your daily routine. So this is how Guruji used to say also, Har pal yaad karo. Do you know why prayers are supposedly said to be recited 5 times a day? You should know that this concept began long before Islam. Hindus and Zoroastrians have been saying their prayers 5 times a day for thousands of years. Hindu temples have various timings for prayers, and every Zoroastrian fire temple will offer sandalwood in the main fire 5 times a day when the bells ring. Why 5 times? Simple reason is that at 5 times a day, you will remember God. Wherever a Muslim may be, whether he or she prays the 5 times namaz, at least when a call for prayer is broadcasted, the person would remember Allah or remember he or she is not performing the 5 times prayers and thus remembers Allah by default. Now, how do you entwine God with your very busy schedule? So, say you're drinking water, say 7 times a day, or you drink coffee and tea 5 times a day, or at least 3 times a day, or whatever you do. So, say you drink water 7 times at least, chai or coffee 3 times, food and snacks at least 3 to 4 times. So, during that time, be it water, be it whatever you consume, you say thank you. Master, thank you for this, whatever that may be, whatever you may be consuming. Please share it with me. Please do not let anybody in the world go hungry or thirsty for food, water, clothing, shelter, and any kind of necessity. So be it, as I pray, amen. So even when you're having water, thank you. And may no one ever go thirsty. Imagine how many times you have thought of the One. After going, washing your hands, and or bathing, you say thank you for the clean water, thank you for this experience, and really feeling that gratitude in your heart when you are under the shower and say thank you God for this clean water, for which many Many millions are deprived in the world. When you sleep, you thank the One and ask for forgiveness for anything wrong you may have thought, spoken, or done, and seek protection for yourself, your loved ones, and the entire world over. Therefore, Sarbadabala. When you wake up, you thank the One for a good night's sleep and for protecting you and your loved ones, and always seek blessings for protection, grace for the day ahead. Imagine if you were to remember the One just during these times. How many times have you entwined yourself with your Master? How many times have you really remembered him? That's like all day. So, somebody who goes to the temple once a day, sits there, and just remembers him for 1 minute or two is great. But if you remember him, chalte firde, like Guruji used to say, chalde firde ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਪਾਠ ਚਲਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. So, which means live with gratitude in your heart and just keep saying thank you to Guruji as you go about your day. So, a person who wants to remember the One needs no reason and no explanation is necessary. For those who do not want to remember the One, there will be no amount of time or reasoning or explanation. This is the eternal truth. Because people say, मेरे पास time ही नहीं होता पाठ करने के लिए, मेरे पास time ही नहीं है मंदिर जाने के लिए. Now imagine if you remember your God before and after everything you do, and while doing whatever you do, where is a necessity to even pray 5 times a day? Like Guruji said, or go to the pilgrimages, or even read the scriptures. Another analogy they said for reading the scriptures, if you spend 1 hour or half an hour, quality time. It's not about the quantity again, it's about the quality time you give to your elders who don't like sitting with elders because they repeat themselves and they cannot have an interesting, especially where elders who are above 80, 85. It is hard to sit with them, right? So, but if you give that 1 hour of your precious time to an elderly in the family or to others, old people's homes, you do charity, that is also a form of charity, giving your time. It is above and beyond reading the scriptures, and it is above and beyond going to pilgrimages. Your good deeds for your family is going for pilgrimages. So your God, Goddess, Master is by your side each moment of your existence when you live the path that He has paved for you. So here the question is again, pilgrimages are necessary? No, not if you have that blessing, that meher from your Guruji, that you can remember him at any time, all times. While drinking your tea, thank you, Guruji, for the yummy tea. While having lunch, thank you for this food. May nobody ever go hungry. While doing whatever activity you're engaging in, let's go for a walk, Guruji. Thank you for this walk, Guruji. Thank you for enabling me to walk, Guruji. So now Baba talks about Abdul. Remember Abdul, for those who are constantly in remembrance of Allah, nothing is required. So if you are in constant remembrance of your Guru, which is a daily practice, honestly, it cannot happen, in a blink of an eye. It can happen through meher, of course. Guruji will give you when you want it, seek and you shall find. But with us, mehnat meri, रहमत उनकी. So the mehnat has to be started today. Today we must make that pledge कि मैं हर पल आज गुरु जी को याद करूंगी. Then that is equivalent to going to a pilgrimage. Remember, Abdul, for those who are constantly in remembrance of Allah, nothing is required, no pilgrimage. But it is easier said than done. Constant remembrance of your God means when you sleep, your heart should chant His name, and your inhalation and exhalation should sigh out the name. And then, given the time we are engrossed in devotion to God, why should we do namaz 5 times a day, in the morning, noon, etc.? If we are all in love with the beloved, we will go and reside in the mandir, which means the heart. Why should we even visit Kaaba or Mecca? What is namaz then? Why fast? At present, I am engaged in his safe. I ask, what is kalam? When the beloved is enthralled in the heart, nothing else is needed. If we are ever engrossed in prayer, meditation, Allah, or performing service, what need is there to go to the masjid, the dargah, the khutbah? During the 8 watches of the day, we are engaged in the remembrance of the beloved. So Kaz now saw Abdul for a while, looked down at what was written. It was clear that Baba had made Abdul pray through the night. That was Baba's way of teaching. Abdul and his prayer should not just be when Abdul sat down with the Holy Quran, but also when Abdul did all the chores of cleaning the masjid, cleaning the streets on which Baba walked, washing his clothes, taking care of the 5 lamps in Dwarkamai, and the eternal lamp that burned in Landi garden. Kaz understood now that this was Baba's way of showing Abdul the true path, not the path of religion, but that of spirituality. Like even Guruji used to say, spirituality that you need to embrace, not religion. Religion, remember, builds walls, it builds boundaries, but spirituality breaks all boundaries and brings into a space of oneness. Because we are all subgobind here, not the path of religion, but that of spirituality. And all spirituality came from loving God. And when you love somebody truly, each moment of the day is passed in the thought of your loved one. And if God was your beloved, then each moment, no matter what you did, would go about in the thought of your beloved. And once you were already engrossed and contained by your beloved, then where would the need to sit and pray on a pilgrimage or go to a temple? Where on earth could you ever go to meet your beloved when he is in your heart and the remembrance is constant? And then we are in the embrace of the love of the beloved. We shall go and reside in the mandir and stay there. We will make collections and think of the non believers. We have no interest in visiting the Kaaba. The face of the beloved is engraved in my heart. Why should we do prostrations then? Why namaz and why fast? So poor Abdul, for a long time, he was confused. Here I made him pray through the night, and there I was singing about why pray and all that. So why do you think uh, Baba asked Rabda? I think you made the right choice of becoming the golden master, my Baba. You are very wise and you can make a career out of it, he says in jest. The banter goes on. So it is a very imperative lesson here. Guruji used to also say ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. He used to say that. But of course, if you feel that it going to some religious place will inspire you, that is literally only for inspiration, not to attain divinity, but to cleanse your karmas and to remember God. But if you can remember him every moment of the day, or at least 5-6 times a day when you eat, or when you're sleeping, or when you wake up, then that is equivalent. That is the point. It's not like it's wrong to go to a pilgrimage, but it's just that if we really live and breathe his teachings and we abide by his hukam, then we are in a pilgrimage at all times. That is the beauty. So when your thoughts rule you, now we're on another chapter talking about, this is a quote he writes, Baba, from previous chapters. When your thoughts rule you, you are like a slave in your own house. So Baba keeps repeating these quotes so that people understand that our thoughts are meant to be powered by us, not the other way around. So when, a thought of, even if coffee doesn't agree with me, I'm just giving a very small example. If coffee doesn't agree with me, but my mind says, no, today I want coffee, I want that extra caffeine. So that thought is ruling me, even though my body's saying it doesn't agree with me, I get acidity. But then you become a slave in your own house when you listen constantly to your mind. Mind will waver. Do you know, asked Baba to Rabda, do you know why Avtar Meher Baba on 10 July decided to keep silent for the rest of his physical journey? He did not utter a sound for the next 43 years. Do you know why he kept silent? Do you know why so many lovers of the one kept silent? Do you know, Rabda? I know you do, so tell me. Well, Baba, you're asking the wrong person because I'm a man who has countless times attempted to kill himself. Not in this, only in this lifetime, but in so many past lifetimes. And it is because of your word to me that you will always be with me and you will always keep me with you that I keep moving on. I know that not too many are this fortunate. I know that suicide is the worst way one can torture oneself. So you're asking a man who could barely keep the clatter of emptiness at bay why the Avtar decided to keep silent. I have no wonder. I have no idea. Baba smiled, but he was always in prayer. Some prayer or the other was constantly being mouthed by him. And this is relatable to me because Guruji used to, though he used to be sitting with his Sangat, he was constantly praying for the universe, for specific people, for uh, but indiscriminately at large, praying for the world at large. Like he said, "Bada mara time aa raha hai." And just to digress a little bit, he said, "Bada mara time aa raha hai, जिन्ना जिन्नी ऐश करनी है कर लो, क्योंकि आगे जाके actually ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ." So we will be compelled to stay at home, and we can already see the signs around us with the constant earthquakes, the floods. um, it is all man-made karma, of course. It's a collective karma of man-made man, that now we are, whatever you sow you reap. So now Mother Earth is raging, which we can see around us. There are man-made conflicts, wars, natural biological wars. So it's all man-made, though. We have done it, so now we have to bear the fruit. Even when you don't stop it, you are part of it. So even being a silent participant, because you're a silent observer, still makes you the participant. The only thing that will keep our vibration up and high in these very, very deeply, profoundly troubled times is the power of prayer. Like Guruji said, "Jinna paat karoge unna kaat hai." Literally. जिन्ना पाठ करोगे उन्ना घट है, जिन्ना याद करोगे रब नु उन्ना घट है. But it will raise our vibration. It'll keep our frequency to a level where गोर कलियों की हवा हमें लगेगी नहीं. But it is all around us. You see it. Thailand, Bangkok, you see the earthquakes, you see the fires, you see the wars and conflicts. We are all part of the same humanity. It is not separate from us. So their suffering is our suffering. So we must pray for them. So the explanation that Meher gave was that he had been coming time and again, countless times in fact, sometimes as a prophet or a master, sometimes as an avatar, and sometimes as a consciousness revolution. And whatever was needed at that time to be spoken, all the philosophies that were to be revealed, every possible spiritual truth that has to be handed out each step of the way, clearly paved and laid down. But mankind, as always, seemed and seems to be like a collective gigantic headless chicken running about from here to there, often in circles, even though the path has been shown by many, many avatars, not just Guruji. Guruji kende main pehle bhi main si, in another form. Hoon bhi main te give main. So Guruji, God, has descended the earth to show us the way. But mankind, for 1 minute, will say, "I'm going to redefine my life." When the pandemic hit us, everyone said, "I'm going to redefine my life now," because there's so much uncertainty around us. It started with a pandemic when there was a shift in consciousness. I believe that was the beginning of the Mara time. And people said, "We will change now for the better. We will minimize our shopping. We will minimize eating out." And what are they doing today? They have doubled up on that because now they think, "Oh, kal ka pata nahi, so let's just live like a headless chicken. Shop, even though we don't need shopping. Shop till you drop. Eat like there's no tomorrow." So humankind forgets very easily. The memory span of the pandemic and the suffering that we all went through has now been diluted and completely dismantled. We don't have any memory of it because we're still living like headless chickens. Nobody has really reformed the world the way we promise to. We'll plant more trees. We'll do good, like Guruji's teachings, embracing his teachings and really living them and being them. So my Meher Baba told one and all that he had spoken so often eventually fell on deaf ears. It was best now not to preach, but to awaken, and thus he took the vow of silence, on and off telling one and all he would break his silence, but he never did. So what's interesting is, even Guruji used to say, by giving sermons, people don't remember. It falls on deaf ears. Or, memory span, we don't remember it. We don't absorb it, let alone integrate it into our lives. So do you think that was a real reason or the only motive behind his silence, though? Because people don't listen. Why did he have to go through over 40 years of keeping silent? Do you know how hard it is to keep silent for such a long time? Do you have any conception of how gut wrenching it is to keep quiet and then try to get a point across for over 4 decades? Some people purport that it conserves energy. Yes, of course it does. Silence does conserve energy. But when done for a short while, and when one is virtually in isolation, not when you are in the world giving sermons, conversing through the writing board or sign language, trying to get across your words silently. Remember when I first saw him, what I whispered, God, it means the Lord, it means the absolute authority, not an avatar, but a whispered uh, Parverdekar. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. And who can bring the very Lord in the physical body and make the one realize that his our own divinity, the perfect masters, says Baba Jan, Tajuddin Baba, Narayan Maharaj, were instrumental in bringing God consciousness into our meher, but first lifting his human consciousness into God consciousness, and then bringing God consciousness to operate from the human body of Baba Meher. So, God consciousness from the human consciousness is what we all aspire to. And it happens through service, through satsang, through seva, through simran. These tools and techniques have been given to us by Guruji. They've been handed to us, literally gifted to us, but we never apply them, or at least we don't apply them enough. Not saying that we don't apply, but we're not applying them enough. So why did Meher decide to go silent even though he had the most mesmerizing of all voices? He could captivate all by just speaking, and yet he decided to give up speaking and embrace silence for the remaining 43 years of his physical sojourn. Why did he give so much importance to silence? Now, the truth is, you have to hear this. Now, this is where the teaching lies, that, like Guruji also used to say, कि एक चुप सौ सुख, but of course, this is something else. The truth is that God resides in silence, bacha. God speaks through silence. God is realized through silent contemplation, focus, and meditation. So there you go. Everything that Guruji used to teach us, चुप करके बैठो, मैं अगर चलते फिरते भी याद करो, फिर घंटा भर एक दिन में, which is your 10 minutes, घर बैठ के भी मुझे याद करो. So God is realized through silent contemplation, focus, and meditation. Love is a silent emotion. Thus, God's main vehicle, love, is silent too. There is no greater love expressed to God than that of silent devotion, silent selflessness, silent surrender, silent acceptance. Silence is the key that unlocks not only the doors of heaven, but also the doors of self realization. The soul encased in the petaled lotus, the blue shimmering identity which remains covered by the muck of cause and effect and noise within and outside, can only be slowly reached by removing silently, one pearl at a time, all the pearls, and this too can be achieved by calm, dedicated silence. Baba Meher Baba, wanted to reach one and all these his lovers that the way to the heart was through silent love. His way was of silence. He did not perform miracles like other Babas. He went about silently working through love. Yes, he is dictated. Yes, he dictated so many books and revealed to mankind ways of reaching the one. But even that was done with dignified silence. So in our lives also, not Everything needs to be reacted to. We are such reactive human beings. Slightest provocation, and we start reacting. Silence is the best response at times. In our silence lies the perfect strength. So Bacha, why did Meher choose silence? It comes back to the same thing as his main vehicle to bring about higher consciousness in his followers. The reason is simple. He chose silence as if had not, the cacophony enveloping the world would have destroyed the world further. He chose to be silent in order to create harmony in the lives of all people who lived with the loud ranting of disharmony in their lives and minds and hearts sometimes. To make quiet the unrest in the hearts and minds, he chose to remain silent for over 4 decades. If he had not become silent, the sound and madness of the world would have deafened and numbed the spirit of countless people. So understand, he chose silence to make you live a happier life. Let's just pause for a minute. If anyone has any questions, because we only have, we've worked through this book quite efficiently and quite swiftly. So we actually have only, whatever, 30 pages to go.
Any questions, Sangaji? It's going very well, Auntie, the book. Learning a lot.
So, silence does create harmony in our lives. And, we're very quick to react to it. It's our ego wants to react. But the heart and the divine within us doesn't want to react. It wants silence. It responds through graceful, dignified silence. So, this is what we need to take away today. The dignified, graceful silence speaks louder than words. You asked me sometime back how a common man should live in the world and yet be with God. Well, the first step is to be silent within. You can speak little, but if there is so much noise going on within you, in reality, you are a very loud person because your mind is speaking loudly. Silence starts from within, but even silence can be the calming, spiritual kind. And then silence can be the most offensive, aggressive, and self destructive type. So remember, it has to be genuine silence. It cannot be silence through forced aggression that has been compelled to be silent. You understand? Like, say, your husband, I'm just saying, give you an example because I've lived through it. So, say your husband keeps provoking you, keeps saying harsh words to you, and you say, okay, if I say something back, it's going to add fuel to the fire. So I'll remain silent. But I'm not remaining silent because of my genuine calmness. I'm remaining silent to create peace. Fine, that's a good step. But in the same breath, not speaking and remaining forcefully, that aggression that's building up inside me and that dying to answer back or at least clear the air from my side. But no, instead, that self destructive silence kills me within. That is also not good. Then, looking for opportunities to calmly resolve the issue is imperative, not to keep silent for the sake of, oh, mujhe nahi face karna the music, so I will remain silent. But it's never resolved. Your aggression, your anger, the self destruction is never resolved until we resolve the issue. So there are two kinds of silence. One silence comes through prayer, through meditation, through contemplation. The second silence is a forced silence. So you have to identify, have the wisdom to recognize what kind of silence am I applying right now. To remain silent in a turbulent argument is very wise, but you must resolve the issue eventually when the other person is calm. Calm silence actually heals you. Now, this is the silence we're talking about that comes from practicing meditation, contemplation, remembering Him, listening to the Gurbani, and really living in alignment with His teachings. That calm silence encompasses us eventually, gradually, but surely. Calm silence heals us, nourishes us, empowers us. So silence is not weak. Silence is our strength. Calmness is not weak. Calmness is again our strength. Remember, when we remain calm with a beautiful smile on our face, it is radiating from within our being. So that is when you feel and know that now you are empowered. No, nothing affects you. The noise may be around you, but you are completely aloof from that noise. It doesn't affect you. So, this is how you play your cards in the most beautiful manner while you're living in the world. If you're silent this way within, then God can implement His true plan through you. Then you become a medium. When we say, Guruji, mujhe medium bana do, it's not easy. First, you have to wash and cleanse yourself from within you of all the calm, krodh, moh, lobh, ankar. It never goes away, but we can mitigate it, we can alleviate it, we can reduce it by consciously living, by going from human consciousness to divine consciousness, God consciousness. How do we get into God consciousness? Again, repetition, but by living in alignment with Him and what He wants from us. If you're silent this way within, God then implements His true plan through you. Then you become a medium. You become His instrument. Like when I was not even worthy, and I'm still not worthy, but I was so not worthy because I had so much resentment and anger after my divorce. And yet I used to go to Bare Mandir. And every time I'd bow, I would say, make me a medium of your purpose, an instrument of your purpose, a medium of your expression. This was my perpetual prayer. Guruji, make me a medium of your expression and an instrument of your purpose. I used to say this, but I was incapable of receiving that grace. Why? Because Abhi, I was not genuinely calm. I had not worked out my karmas. I had not let go. I had not forgiven. Forgive from the heart, because that's when we truly, truly purify and cleanse ourselves from within, and we become the vessel, which then, an empty vessel, which then He fills us with grace, His grace. So this is beautiful. It's every word is Guruji's word. There is no truth cannot be many. Truth is one. So the truth is expressed in different ways, but it is one and the same. His true plan through you and allow you to live your karmic blueprint in the most graceful and capable manner while inspiring others, empowering others, and bringing them onto the path of Guruji. If you are silent within, in the calm manner, it means you are in complete positive surrender to whatever God has in store for you. Of course, we will go through that fear. Just yesterday, when I heard about how many people have died in the Myanmar earthquake, and how this is just the beginning, not to scare myself or you, but it is a fact that these horrific earthquakes is the beginning of many more tsunamis, earthquakes, natural calamities, forest fires, war, conflict, man-made. Everything is man-made. But nature has to revolt and repel now. We have really toyed with her. So, but when I went through a low yesterday, for 1 minute, I again lifted myself. I said, Guruji, please protect the world. Sarbada pala karo, and connect everyone, no matter what caste, color, costume, whatever your background. Connect people regardless, because we are all one. Sab Gobind hai. Remember, Sab Gobind hai. We are not apart from anybody. You and I, jo tujh mein hai, wo mujh mein hai. Sab mein Rab hai. So silence is the most important, but more important than silence is calm silence. If you are silent within, but you are brooding, hurting, waiting, that is what I just said, then that is an enforced suffocation and gagging your true state of being. So this is repeating what I just said. We are not forcing silence. Silence is a place to arrive at when we make it our journey. Okay? That is a very imperative takeaway, that when silence becomes our destination, then, it is a journey and the final come home to. That kind of silence is louder than a truckload of animals in heat when it is forced. That kind of silence is the worst sort. It is usually brought about due to having no other option to be silent, that forced silence, because I don't want, um, I don't want any more conflict in the home. I don't want domestic violence. I don't want my children to be affected by all this. So better I be the pillar and I remain silent. Let the man do what he wants to. No, that is injustice to yourself and injustice to your children, because they watch your cowardice brought about through not being strong and bold enough to stand for what is right. This is a sinus that cripples your very soul and makes you impotent and shrivels your being and causes tremendous and often fatal illnesses. Again, I've been down that road, so I can speak from experience that my resentment, anger, guilt, anything that was not resolved turned into cancer 3 times, 4 times. First skin cancer, then I had breast cancer, 3 tumors. So it's today I have the wisdom to recognize that, okay, today when I may get hurt from something my child tells me, my daughter tells me, and I get hurt. I get hurt and I get affected and I start worrying about my daughters. Of course, it's natural. I'm a mother. But then instead of harboring that, worry and that hurt and that, what's going to happen, that anxiety, I sit and I pray to my guru. I turn the worry into worship. I turn the fear into faith. Because now today we have that wisdom to know that, like Guruji said, मैं हर चीज convert कर देना. So I say, I convert now and I let go. But we are talking about the calm, nurturing, positive surrender category of silence. So I hope you guys have understood the difference. Very important to define it. Meher Baba decided to take the vow of silence to bring about calmness of thought, word, and action by the power of his silence. It is so beautiful. We must all practice today. Don't speak unnecessarily. Okay? If I want my breakfast, I'll just say, breakfast. Breakfast de do, please. Thank you. And that's it. Not going on and on. Aisa nahi bana, waisa nahi bana. Just eat it with gratitude. And then if you don't like it, that it's been served to you, just say, next time, please give me like this. So be a woman or a man of a few words. And there's a reason why people say that, because it's your body language anyway that's talking. Your eye contact is talking. It's speaking louder than words. And your calm aura speaks volumes anyway. So you don't need to use words all the time. But he was filled with love, overflowing with compassion, laughter, and joy, and mischievousness. I love it because there's a part of me that is very mischievous. Very few people see it. But when I'm in the mood, like yesterday, I was sitting in Sangat and somebody said, I'll just share it with you because moments of joy and laughter is very important. So, somebody said in the satsang, they said, जो fast कर रहे हैं, प्लीज एक कैटेगरी बना दो, उसका लंगर अलग है, फास्ट वाला लंगर है. तो देन सेवादार looked at me and said कि आंटी, अनीता आंटी, आप भी फास्ट कर रहे हो? तो I just put my hand up and I said, मैं फास्ट खाती हूँ, does that count? मैं बहुत फास्ट ईटर हूँ. And he just started laughing and the people around were in roaring laughter. It might not sound funny right now, but they were in roaring laughter. So Guruji has taught us, no matter what you're going through, just laugh. Make people laugh. Smile. Your smile can change the world. People who are frowning, sitting in a satsang, and you're smiling, that inspires the other sangat also. You being you, your presence has to inspire the world. And that is the aspiration. So be the best version of ourselves because Guruji wants us to be the best version of ourselves. That is why he descended there, of course, to uplift mankind and to expiate our karmas. But he also taught us, while you're on Mother Earth, respect Mother Earth and be in silence, do the best you can, laugh, live, and be always joyful. Live with that joy of spark in your heart. It's a very long chapter, and we will come back to it because silence is also an amazing chapter, amazing lesson we all need to learn. And we will surely come back to it very soon. And we have read 45 minutes. I do not want to drag you into listening to me while I talk. So, any question, please raise your hand because we've learned two things today. We've learned, like Guruji said, ਇੱਧਰ ਉੱਧਰ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ. I said my brothers go to Vaishno Devi twice or three times a year. So I said, Guruji, मेरी family जा रही है, मैं जाऊं? की लोड़ है? माता ਇੱਥੇ है, सब कुछ ਇੱਥੇ ही है. ਤੈਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ नहीं है वैष्णो देवी जान दी. Of course, I was upset. I was 32 years old and I had no wisdom. I had no sense. I had no brain. So I said, okay, whatever. But I didn't go, but I was very angry with him. 25, 30 years later, Jai Guruji, thank you, Guruji, for showing me that the pilgrimage is our heart. The temple is your home. So you can remember him. Pani piyo, nikalo aaj, or bolo, thank you, Guruji. May no one go thirsty ever. I take my morsel of food and I say, thank you, Guruji. May never anyone go hungry in this world. You are there. Sarbat da bala karo. प्यार करो सबको और सबको अपनी तरफ लेके आओ. We must take that first step towards God for him to take 1,000 towards us. Don't take God for granted. Ram ko khilona jana. Don't do that. Remember him, love him. Spend time with them. Don't you do that with your loved ones? You spend time with them. So that is the true pilgrimage. And the real pilgrimage is, the real scripture reading is when you spend time with somebody who irks you, makes you impatient. Your own mother, maybe, aged mother. Ki, oh, mama, आप repeat करते रहते हो अपने आप को. Just listen to them. They need a listening ear. Listening to them, sitting with them, eating with them for 1 hour every day. That is your true reading of scripture. That is your pilgrimage. आपने अपना टाइम दिया, दसवंत दिया. और गुरु जी को क्यों नहीं दसवंत दोगे? Daswant doesn't necessarily come in monetary form. Comes in your time, in your love, just remembrance. Your remembrance is the return gift to mankind. You being you will inspire the world, trust me. You shed your light and the world will lighten up and want to be on your path. तो उसे तू क्या कर रही है जो तेरे ग्लो आ गया? तू क्या कर रही है जो तू इतना काम रहती है in the storm? We are doing nothing but remembering, being in remembrance of our God, of our Guru. So thank you, Guruji, for giving us this wisdom today. And the second one was bin matlab, without necessity, don't speak. Practice it today. Remain as silent. Be a woman of few words or a man of few words and see how the strength builds up. When we remain silent, the calmness will permeate. When calmness permeates, you become the vessel of Guruji. And then he guides us and guards us to be the torchbearers because the world needs it. The world is crumbling. So we must stand tall. We must shed the light that he has come to shed. Be the light before we merge into the light. Jai Guruji. Any questions today? Please ask. We only have 30 pages to go and many invaluable treasures of lessons to learn.